All right, everybody, welcome to the Fit Agent Show. With me today, I have somebody I like to call Party Marty. Marty Rinehart, welcome to the Fit Agent Show. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. I love the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Dude, thank you for being on. Well, uh, for those of you that don't know Marty, can you kind of give us like a quick elevator pitch on who you are and how you got into real estate and maybe the things that led up to that?
Wow. It's I was just telling you, bro. I got my little plaque around here.
Yeah.
I owned a personal training studio. I was in health and fitness for 12 years, and I was one of the top regarded experts in Chicagoland area. And I get to, it was beautiful. I got to travel and inspire other fit pros that flew in from all over the world, and I got to do some really beautiful things in that industry. I wrote an ebook for mastering the basics of nutrition, and I am an expert in health and wellness, and also I do a lot of work in the trauma field. Releasing trauma with the mind through these weird practices.
Yeah.
I just always loved people very much. So being able to free people of energy, because energy is everything, and energy is held in the body, and it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional. So I've always loved taking a very holistic approach at just health itself. And I wasn't like the other gyms around me where it's like wake up, eat, train, sleep, repeat. I was coaching and guiding my tribe, my athletes, to loving themselves first, and then committing to the changes that are necessary to achieve the end result, but also believing in themselves and believing in their goals, and believing that if they actually set out to accomplish what they're after, it's theirs and it belongs to them. And it's just one day at a time. It's never a linear process. But the beautiful thing about my gym was it was a community as well. So there's a lot of power in the community, but there was a lot of power in, instead of just working out, like, let's get to love you, and know that you are worth the things that you want, and commit to making it happen. Let's get that plan in order, because I know how to do it. I really consider myself a composition specialist. Like, whatever you want to look like, we could do that. This is how.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love that. I mean, you kind of went like one more level deep and like really, or maybe even three or four levels deep, when it came to like finding out like their desires and then helping them believe that they can achieve those things and working through the mental side of things. Cause I feel like so many people are just like, yeah, do the work and just not really talk about the mental side of things. But I think that's 90% of the battle is getting your mind right for the weight loss or for the body transformation, whatever it is. Because if you don't believe that you can actually achieve those things, then how likely is it that you're going to put in the work and actually get there? So, and one thing I want to kind of hit on too is, so I actually majored in kinesiology in college, and I always told myself I'm going to open up a gym, and obviously didn't. But I want to say props to you for doing that, because I feel like that was a pretty awesome journey. How did that whole thing like unravel? How did you get into the gym industry, and like what was your experience like?
Man, my life has been such a blessing, brother. Like, I've always been like since I started committing to like doing things, and actually trying to like be better. I've just been one opportunity after another. I walk into them, and the universe has showed me time and time again that it's got my back, and it's co-expiring to support and guide me on my journey. And I didn't care much about myself, or I didn't have any goals, ambitions. I had no goals. I really didn't um, have much self-love, and I didn't have much self-respect either. And when I was like younger in high school, I was told I was going to fail, like as a kid, by like my dean and my teachers, and I believed them, and I believed that that was my life. Like, there was nothing for it. But once I got into fitness, because I was always in the gym, I was always an athlete. And that was my one space where I was doing something positive for me always. So it was just my normal routine. Like, God bless like me for like being athletic and finding football and learning, things at a young age through like organized sports, like how to be a leader and how to be part of a team and how to put the team first before you and stuff like that. So when I got to training people, it was like the first time when people were expressing their gratitude to me. It was like the first time I felt like, wow, I do belong and I do have a purpose and this is what it is.
Yeah.
So, about many years later, I'm just about to have my daughter. We just bought a house. Like I'm like working security at a nightclub. I'm working at this place called the Exercise Coach. Like, I was like just and I was underpaid and undervalued, and my worth was not is what I was receiving in compensation. So
Yeah.
I decided to go find somebody who will value me and knows what my worth is, because I was a true expert. And when I walked into this studio downtown Arlington Heights called Rush, I met AJ Rivera, who's been one of my most impactful mentors in my entire life and in my professional career. And he hired me. Like he said, "Hey, come back in a few hours. Like I want to talk to you." He hired me, and I became the manager of one of his studio in Arlington Heights, and he had another one in a nearby suburb that another girl was running. So this gentleman was making 10 grand and net every month on both studios, and he
Yeah.
didn't have to walk foot inside of them. Like this guy's a true business man, entrepreneur, and just one hell of a rock star that I've ever met.
Yeah.
But after like 4 months of being there, he's like, "Hey, do you want to buy the studio?" I'm like, "Yo, are you messing with me?" And he's like, "No." So he was telling me his goal and his vision was to become the fitness business mentor.
Mhm.
And what we were talking about when we were like deadlifting, and he's like, "Yo, you want to buy the studio?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring all my mastermind students to 4-star resort on the ocean, blah blah blah." It didn't take him 6 months to do that. 6 months after that, we were on the ocean, and he was the #1 fitness business mentor in the entire world. And being able to witness what he did, and I'm like, "Yo, you have 2 successful businesses. Why are you leaving?" He's like, "Because I already know how to do this.
Yeah.
If I fail in that, like, I can do this again. Like, easy. I know how to do this." So
Right.
it was very cool to see him, give me an opportunity and the other girl an opportunity. He sold us his studios that were profitable, and he took himself to Florida and became the #1 fitness business mentor in the world, like he planned. And watching that like form of manifestation, just like somebody believing in something and having a vision and walking towards it, it showed me that, like, we're capable of anything we choose to do in this lifetime. We just have to imagine it, envision it, and believe in the vision and walk towards it every day. So
Absolutely. I think that's something
yeah.
to highlight, especially, I mean, when they're like, no matter like where you're kind of going through in your journey of life, like imagining like what the future is going to look like is imperative if you want to get to a certain destination. What are some of the things that you do to like keep those things in the forefront of your mind and make sure that you're focusing on the right things, you're feeding your mind the right things, and that you're like envisioning the things that you desire? Like, how do you go about like that on a daily basis?
Oh man, I'm weird, dude.
I want to hear it. What
I,
weird? Let's hear
I
it.
meditate, I journal, I hit my whiteboard. I mean, there's many forms of manifestation that I practice, and I believe that journaling and writing words, like out of like when you put words on paper, that's the first form of manifestation from it getting out of your mind and into this existence. So I do a lot of journaling, I do a lot of writing and drawing, and it just the vision I have is so real to me, like of the future, and I know where I'm at, and I know who's with me. I know what it looks like, I know what it tastes like, I know what it smells like.
Yeah.
And just knowing that, it drives me. It does. And if someone says you're crazy and none of that will ever happen, I'll be like, "Yo, leave me alone, don't care." like
Yeah.
like it
The
will.
vision
And when it
quickly.
does, like, if you're there or not, like, it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I'm going there.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, having that clear of a vision is, I mean, like I was saying before, like I think it's like imperative that you have that, because if you're not just kind of just wandering through life and just happening and just seeing what happens, like your life's not going to be some life by design. It's just going to be a life by circumstances, and like just the next thing's just going to happen, and you're just going to have to deal with it and just assume that that's your life when you could take complete control and be the master of your own destiny. So I love that. I love that. Now, going back to the gym and then the transition into real estate, how did that all happen? Like where were you at in the gym business, and then how did you trickle into real estate? Like how did that all work?
Oh my God, I don't even think I've told this story yet.
Oh man, all right.
So I do a lot of different practices, and one of them is with medicine, psychedelic medicine. And I had two before COVID. I had two ayahuasca medicine healers, and one of them, his name is David, and he's from like Detroit, Michigan. So I had a ceremony with David on a Saturday. It was January 2019, and on what I received, the vision I received, and what I knew I had to do. I told my wife at the time, then my daughter's mother, I said, at the end of this week, we're no longer going to be gym owners. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I do know that I can't do this anymore because I didn't see my daughter Madeline enough, and it broke my heart. Like there's times where she'd come to the gym and she'd like be crying. She'd be like, "Daddy, when do I get to see you? When can we hang out?" And I'm just, it's like I went to work at 4:30 in the morning, and she's sleeping, and I come back at 9. She's sleeping. I go back to work at 4:30 in the morning and come back at 9 because I thought it was smart to do like 2 full days and then take the last 3 days of the week off.
Okay. All right. All right.
But by the time I come home, I haven't seen her in 3 days, and I'm physically exhausted, and I just break down, start crying. So it wasn't worth it to me. The success and the money, I was like, yo, I can figure something different out. I believe that very much. And again, kind of like AJ, I'm like, but if I can't do something different, at least I know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by Wednesday I had a plan. And then Thursday, it was negative 50 degrees, coldest day in Chicago history in like 80 years. The pipes in the sprinkler room burst and flooded my studio. So the
Yeah.
universe again showed me like, yo, I'm taking care of you, because we were prepared to pay out about $40,000 in unused training, and we ended up walking away like even not having like just at zero. And what was also beautiful is we didn't have to worry about the because we were going to pay 40 grand, but then we're also have to worry about like the legal fees and all the weird shit that comes with the lease, because I wasn't going to stay there. So I got to walk from the lease because of negligence. So
Oh wow.
it was so that happened, and I didn't know what I wanted to do for about 6 months. So we went to Disneyland, we went to Mexico, and I realized that the money in my safe was not there anymore.
Was it
So
regenerating? Yeah. Yeah.
so I spent a day and called like a bunch, like 7 entrepreneurs that I know. 2 of them were in real estate, and the 2 in real estate said at the click of a button, tens of thousands of people will know that you're now selling homes, because I had a big organic social following from my gym being in town and
Yeah.
local. And I was like, oh man, this is great. I'm gonna be in real estate. So then I
Yeah.
walked in the house, and I said to the girl's mom, I said, hey, guess what? I'm gonna get my real estate license. And she looked at me and she goes, it's the worst idea I've ever heard. I'm just like, oh, are you effing kidding me? So my heart sunk to my stomach. I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Like, just like, damn, I thought I found it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after a few minutes, I went back inside and said, yo, can I please tell you why I think it's a good idea? And after we talked about it, it ended up being a good idea. So I had my license like maybe 3 weeks later.
Oh shoot. So you went through it quick.
Oh yeah, I spent 5 days as if this was my job. Monday through Friday, I worked 8 hours to study and digest the information, and then go take the test.
Love it. I love it. What's been the journey like since then? How's it been over the last couple of years?
It's been so I've been with 5 brokerages in the last 4 years.
You know what's funny?
And,
That kind of reminds me of my college tour. Like,
what's that?
I went to 5 colleges before I graduated. So,
There
but
you go.
I found one that finally worked for me, and it worked out. So it made it happen.
So yeah, so I'm on my 5th and final. I'm being with real is very beautiful, and I've been looking for it the whole time. Like, how they say like in fitness, like choose your hard.
Yeah.
Like it's going to it's going to be hard to wake up and to get to the gym and to modify your nutrition and become educated on all of it so that you can sustain it. and the easy is going to be quality of life versus the opposite, like horrible quality of life. And hey, yeah, sure, sleep in, watch Netflix all day and enjoy yourself in the now, the present, and you're going to regret it later. When I found out, you don't know what you don't know. So when I joined each brokerage, I didn't realize that it was not right for me. And as soon as I found out that it was not right for me, I chose my hard by like adjusting instead of staying there and
Well,
knowing that it's not my right partner.
I think that's something huge to highlight because I feel like so many people in the industry get into the first brokerage that they're at, or maybe it takes them 10 years to move to a different brokerage, um, because they get complacent, or because they get comfortable in that environment, and they think it's going to be too hard to make that change. What would you say to somebody that's on the fence? What, like, no matter what the brokerage is that they're at, like, how would you help somebody work through, like, am I at where I need to be, or should I consider making a change to Keller Williams or to EXP or to LTP or to Real, or like how would you help somebody like work through that process?
So I think the first thing that you have to identify when choosing a partner broker is what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what are your goals? What are your visions? What do you need? Right? What do you want and what do you need? Because if you want to do 5 transactions, maybe a 100% commission is good for you, where you're just paying a flat fee, right? If you're looking to grow and grow a team, if you're looking to do XYZ, whatever that is, there's different brokerages for a reason. And depending on what you're looking to do, and also depending on who you are, like what do you need as well? Do you need a brokerage where there's office space? Do you need a digital brokerage where you want to you don't want to leave your house, or maybe you want to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond, or maybe you want to be I call myself a shark. That's my spirit animal, but I'm in the ocean. I'm in the biggest room in real estate with Real, and it's exactly where I want to be because I'm inspired by whales and megalodons and you name it. What the
Yeah.
biggest super squid, right? Giant squid.
Yeah.
We got all of it. And what's beautiful is nobody's looking at me like, yo, like what do we do? Like, I'm looking around and I'm just drinking out of a fire hose, getting inspired by idea after idea by people who are smarter and doing, who have been doing this longer and who have had more success than me. I love that very much. The collaboration is hands down what I've been looking for. And if you are if you are at a brokerage right now, and ask when you identify what you want and who you are and what you need, then ask yourself this: like, is the brokerage I'm currently at most suited in order to facilitate forward all the things that I need, want, and deserve? And if that answer is no, be like, okay, cool, which one is? And do your homework. But
Yeah.
you choosing to stay somewhere that's not aligned with you and your highest purpose, that's only hurting you in the long run. So choose your hard and choose your easy. But I implore you, if you're not with the right partner, go find your right partner, because there's many different brokerages for you.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the cool thing about like what's happened over the last 5 or so years is the amount of brokerages that have popped up. I mean, I feel like I'm no like a real estate historian, but I feel like there's a big five or so that kind of dominated the space over the last 30 or so years, and then we've got some pretty cool new models pop up here recently, like EXP and LTP and all these different ones. So no, I think it's imperative that you have this kind of conversations with those different people at the brokerages, not just looking at like a website or something like that, but getting into the nitty gritty of what the value is and where you receive value, and if that value is actually going to line up with what you need to be successful.
So something that I wanted to kind of touch base on is the similarities that between when I was in the fitness industry versus like when what I'm doing now and the brokerage I'm with now. And I
Okay.
believe in proximity very much and how powerful it is. And when I was in proximity to my mentor AJ and all the other rock stars, like 1% of the top 1% of boutique shops in the world, and Alex and Layla Harmozy were just beginning gym launch, and we were connected with some really beautiful entrepreneurs in that space, and you get to see how small of an industry it really is and how small the world really is. And being in the biggest room in the fitness industry, and now being in the biggest room in the real estate space, I wouldn't have it any other way. So I would not want to be at any of those previous four brokerages over being where I'm at now. No matter how hard it's been transitioning from brokerage to brokerage every single year, because to be home and surrounded by all of the super talents that show up and care to impact like our industry and our world, that's only going to facilitate my growth in the most correct form that I foresee it happening. So
Yeah, no, I think people definitely like underestimate the power of proximity when it comes to, I mean, having conversations with some of like the top producers in the industry, or being able to be coached by somebody that's done this for 30 years, or growing a business to be able to and sell it from and go from 3 million to 3.4 billion in value. And like all these things that I think we've been able to have access through real is what's kind of perpetuating this growth, because it's like constantly feeding on its like feeding itself and snowballing. Uh what were some like the biggest things you got when it came to value in the gym industry, because you're surrounded by people like Alex Hormozy and the people that were being taught by him? What were some of the biggest things that you learned throughout that process?
I think what I learned is like, I value mastermind, I value collaboration, I value not being the biggest fish in the room, and I value being the little guy surrounded by superstars that inspire me. Because when you're not inspired to be better by the people around you, I think you can get complacent. And when you
Yes.
are the biggest fish in the smallest pond and you stay there, it's ego, and the ego is being filled more than growth is transpiring. And I don't care to be told how good I'm doing and how wonderful I am. Like I know whether I'm proud of my accomplishments or not. I don't need anybody to validate that. But I do know that I don't want to be somewhere where complacency exists. I want to be somewhere where I'm inspired and have to push forward harder every day. Otherwise, I'm gonna get lost in the dust.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of like shoot, like even like working out in high school, like with the team. Like if you're the strongest person on the team, if you're halfway up the strength ladder, like how much harder are you going to push to get to that next level, because you're surrounded by those people that are doing more than you're doing, but also then seeing and realizing how capable like you are and how doable it is, because you know that, let's say it's Bob that's squatting 450 pounds, like, well, shoot, I'm only at 350 right now, but I know Bob, I know what he eats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I know where he lives, and this is a obtainable goal. It just and like in seeing that and seeing somebody else like live it, I think makes it more digestible and more easy for us to connect our brain to that goal and then execute on it. So I think that's I think that's been one of probably the biggest changes, at least for my career, is like being able to surround myself with people that are 3 steps ahead of me, but also 3 miles ahead of me, to see, okay, what does the next 20 years look like? And keeping that like long-term vision, and not being short-sighted. Because I think that's something that I think a lot of other people like focus on too, is like, well, how can I win? Yes, winning the day is important, winning the week's important, but what does your life look like whenever you're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old? Because we're not just living for another week, like we're living for the next hopefully 40, 50, 60 years. And you want to see like what's possible for yourself. I think you got to evaluate and look at other people and see how they're living their lives, and if that's somebody you're looking up to, okay, then follow those steps to get to that point. um Man, that's kind of getting on a more of a personal side of things. That's something that kind of hit me here recently. My grandmother of 92 years just passed about a week ago. And like for the last week, been really thinking about not just like the next 5 or 10 years, but like what does life look like whenever I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, and how can I make the biggest impact on my family and love them and also provide for them, but do what truly matters, and like breaking down those things and realizing what's important, what's not important, where should I put my focus on, and Yeah, I think having those long-term goals and comparing yourself, not really comparing yourself, but evaluating other people's lives and seeing if that's what you would want out of your life, I think is important to make sure that you're headed on the right direction. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just like you were saying, like where are you headed? But through collaboration over competition, we all get there faster together. And that's something that's beautiful is not only being surrounded by superstars, but being in a room where everybody genuinely cares about everyone's collective success
Yeah.
as one. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of rare if like in the real estate space because it's it always it seems like from other interactions I've had in the past, it's like we're trying to compete against each other. It's like, what? But are we really trying to compete against each other? Because if Susan down the street gets a listing that I have a buyer for, that's a great win. Like if I get a listing that you have a buyer for, that's a great win. Like no one doing more business is going to hurt your business, and I think that's something that like we've got to kind of get over. That like if we all just level up our game, if we all improve the way we communicate, if we all improve the way we market, if we all improve the way we do whatever, like we're going to just bring this whole industry up. And I feel like especially gosh, after like the lawsuits and stuff that have kind of come out over the last couple of months, it's kind of our job to be at our absolute best and provide legitimate value and not just be like a door opener or somebody that just snaps a couple pictures and throws the house up on the internet, but truly advises our clients and make sure that they understand like the condition of the market and what it's going to take to get the property sold and all the ins and outs of the numbers and really get down to the nitty gritty versus just being a kind of like a C plus agent, which I feel like fortunately I think a lot of people are getting out. But curious on your thoughts. How do you what do you think about the market kind of tightening up? And obviously rates are up right now. Inventory is creeping up over here, at least. How's inventory doing in Chicago? Is it going up as well?
So inventory is non-existent. It's very, 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 very small over here. I think I know it like in like Arizona and Florida and California, in Texas, they're building a lot. They're not building a lot in Chicago right now.
Got
And
it.
the inventory is an issue. And I don't think it's going to be not be an issue, over all 50 states for quite some time. But with buyer demand increasing at a faster rate than inventory, home prices are not going. I don't believe home prices are going down, but it's all relevant. The market is what it is, and I believe there's a vast separation between professionals who are consistent and innovative and doing things that haven't been done and seen before, versus the stale, stagnant, paper pusher and maybe door knocker that's doing things less effective. And I think effective is digital, right?
Yeah.
And just being an authority on online, because online is to the masses if you can identify and speak to your audience. But
How are you
um
doing that? How are you connecting like with your audience through social media? Like
um
what are, I know you take a different angle.
online via text, phone calls, in person. I'm very big on my SOI. So my sphere of influence is my bread and butter, and it always has been. But what I was getting to is what I didn't do was I did not do my job for a majority of the year. I just started about 3 months ago, really 3-4 months ago, prospecting and doing all the things that I know I should have been doing. And everything works if you actually show up and commit to it and work whatever systems and formalities you have. So the people who are not busy, I think, are the ones spinning their wheels, and the ones who are uncertain on their message and their value and their proposition and just who they are, like and who their audience is. And the agents who are having their best years, they're innovative, they're doing things different, they're online, they have a strong presence with their SOI, and they're tapping into resources and stuff that makes sense for them. And what's beautiful with Real is we have experts and people who are dominating every strategy known to real estate. So You know, you can learn literally anything, and all of it works. So when it comes to like inventory and how busy each specific agent is, what have they been doing the last 3 months leading up to today?
What have been some things that have really worked for you when it comes to working your SOI, like when it comes to staying in contact? Like, do you have any like tips for people that are like staring at their phone, wondering how am I gonna just reach out to my SOI? I feel like it's awkward. I feel like it's weird. How should someone go about like tapping into that huge resource?
People feel weird doing it because it might, their intention, like what is your intention? Is your intention to reach out to somebody to generate business, or is your intention to reach out and be somebody's friend?
Yeah,
Because when you think about it and you're like, oh well, I don't want to bother my friends, like no shit, you're going to bother them if you try to sell them something and you call them and you script them. But if you
exactly.
call them and you just say, hi, how are you? Hey, Hay, how are you? um, they'll open up and they'll feel received in a space that is like sacred and means like, yo, this is love, this is friendship. It's unattached and unbound to ideal circumstance of like them selling and buying with you like ever. Like don't do that. That's yucky. If you're calling people attached to a certain outcome, um you know I tell people, like, instead of trying to sell people, like call people and just try to be their friend. Because if you can give people love and make them feel seen and heard, and actually have a conversation with them and listen to them and respond accordingly, most people can't do that. And
Yeah,
most people don't have conversations without like some sort of you know
clothesline.
what is it called? So some sort of what's it they want people want something. People are selfish. So if you can be unattached to the outcome and actually call your friends and give them the love and the listening and the loyalty they deserve, um, law of reciprocity, like, yo, they're gonna feel seen and heard and loved by you.
Mhm.
And maybe one day, if they have to transact or know somebody, you're gonna be the first person they think about because you gave them something that is unique and not common, and it's called love.
I think that's a good place kind of to wrap it up, is like keeping like focusing on the right intentions when it comes to reaching out to these people and not just being just going for the sale. I think that's huge because it's a relationship business. I mean, that from the start, like from agent to agent, from agent to consumer, and everybody else in between, there has to be good relationships formed for this to all work, and for more people to be able to refer you and those kind of things. I think building that relationship where people just trust you is huge, because there's so much misinformation and just like stuff just floating around. And if you can just be true and honest with people, I think that's like the best way to really break through and really connect with the people that you're trying to help.
Absolutely. Well, if you can listen to them and fully receive, like, and identify like what they need and what they want and what makes sense for them, and ask them questions to, dig deeper into their intention, their why, and bring them to places like below surface that they're like, wow, I didn't even realize like any of this. If you can bring people deeper than surface, and you'll connect with them so much better, and they will open up to you, and they will feel your authenticity, and they will feel that you actually care because you're asking to inquire, so that you know all of it. Because I believe too many times in our industry, the ego takes over, and instead of listening, people are already imagining what's going to happen because they think they know what's best for these people that they're serving. And truthfully, who knows what's best for each individual except for them, right? So, based off of the listening and the learning, I provide education and, make sure that they're informed all the way through. So they're making the best correct decisions, and they're informed decisions for themselves and their families. And I'm not making those decisions for them.
I love that. I love that. Marty, for people that want to get in contact with you because I feel like you've got so much to give, what would be the best ways for people to get connected with you? Like through Instagram, social media, Facebook?
So Instagram is Marty underscore Rinehart, Rinehart underscore vibe. My phone number is 224-355-9903. Call, text anytime. And I'm always available if somebody needs something. And don't be shy. I'm here.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Marty, thank you for being on the Fit Agent Show, and I'll see you guys in the next one.